My name's Keith Saint. I went to Pegswood First School and Bothell Middle School after that, and then Asherton High.
Can you tell me what your expectations were of you at school from the teachers?
I kind of didn't really have very much in the way of expectations. I just thought I would be. I really, it just was a manual job. Really, I just pictured myself doing something like being a bricklayer or even a labourer. You know, just something like that. I didn't really sort of think very much about what I wanted to do after school. I don't think the teachers had very much in the way of expectations for me either. Really, I was very lazy at school, and I didn't really I wasn't interested enough to learn. And I think I lacked a lot of confidence back then as well, which stopped us from learning.
Do you think there are any teachers that got to know you as Keith and tried to motivate you?
Oh, definitely, yeah. I mean, there were some good teachers, really good teachers. And I think I did okay under them. But I don't know, I just kind of, I remember when I was about 14, I had appendicitis. I'm not making excuses for the fact that I didn't try hard, but I was 14 and I got appendicitis. And I was off school for weeks. And it just was an operation that didn't go very well. And it took us ages to get back into the swing of things at school. And I remember getting back to school, I can remember the feeling thinking, everybody knows a lot more than me. And from that moment on, I just thought, well, it's either I'm gonna have to take work home with us and learn, and apply myself, or give up. Give up seemed like an easy way to deal with it, really, and that's what I did. I always thought it'll be all right. It'll be fine, and that's what I did. I just kind of give up. But I mean, I didn't really sort of misbehave. I just kind of just didn't pay much attention, really, unless it really interested in us,
Did any of your parents or siblings go to university?
No, they didn't go to university. My sister was quite intelligent. She went to the grammar school back then, straight from the first school. I think it was 11 plus or something like that. You got to pass or something back then. She went and done that. My brother is really intelligent compared to me, and I mean when you think what he's doing and what he could have done if he applied himself, but he'll admit it himself, he was lazy. I shouldn't really speak about his experiences, but no, my brother and sister were both bright. I was just blessed with good looks.
Can you tell me, I'm starting to hear that you think universities are about really intelligent people. Is that your understanding what universities are about?
University was never discussed when I was at school. It was a pointless waste of time discussing something like university to somebody who was thick as two short planks at school, anybody, really, because I was, people shake their heads when I say it, but believe me, I was thick, and I didn't, I just did not apply myself in a proper way. To talk about university to me would be it was just a waste of time, just a pointless waste of time. I was never going to get there. I did my learning after school, really, my education, but only on the things that I was interested in. I couldn't, somebody could turn around to us and say, well, you need an A level in maths for to do this job. I couldn't then go and get an A level in maths unless I really applied myself. And I find if I'm not interested in something, I cannot do it. It's like reading a book. If it's really interesting, I'll read it. But if it's not something that I'm interested in, I lose interest, and I'll get past the first 2 or 3 pages, and that's it. It's thrown.
So when you went to the college, I don't know how you did your degree or where you went to do it. Can you explain all of that and what you thought was going to happen to get your degree and what actually happened, what the experience was like? Well, what you were thinking was going to happen when you went to the college, did it happen the way you thought it was going to happen?
No, I didn't actually, because when I went, I thought, I thought it was A level. As soon as you said A level, I thought this is going to be really difficult. And it wasn't, because I'd been doing photography for a long time. And I pretty much had the course that they wanted from us among the work that I already had. There wasn't a great deal I had to do. So I kind of was pleasantly surprised that I was kind of found it easy. I was waiting for it to get hard. When I went to for the college for my degree, that was a bit different in the fact that it was a lot busier, and it wasn't as personal as well. Like at the college, you felt like you knew everybody. It just felt more laid back because I had the time. You had one module to do, whereas like when you were doing your degree, you had maybe 4 or 5 to do at a time. And as well as the fact that it was a lot of work that it wasn't familiar with us, whereas the A-level one, I could probably channel it in the way that I wanted it to go, photographing things and that I enjoyed doing. The degree wasn't. It wasn't like that. It was very much led down the path of commercial fashion photography and things like that. And that was a lot more difficult because you had studios to set up, and there was just lots of technical bump that you've got to sort of get by, and plus the expense as well. I found it really expensive to keep up, the amount of work that you needed to do to prove that you'd done something. There was you basically started with a beginning idea, which was a photograph, which was a print that you had to pay for. Then you had to discuss how that changed into what you had, and eventually you had like a portfolio of images to one module. It was costing a lot of money, and what, like I say, there wasn't that personal relationship that you had with the lecturer like you had at the college doing the A-level. You kind of discussed more about the photography, and they kind of got to know you as a person, and a little bit of as much as you wanted to talk about. They become friends really in a lot of ways, whereas gone to college to do the degree, there was that distance between you and the lecturer. Not that because they didn't want it to be anything else, it's just that because you were that busy doing things and trying to, get everything right. There was a lot of, the pressure was on a lot more. Even though it was just part-time, and we had longer to do it. I found it a lot harder because I think I was led to believe I could do it. I was told it was going to be a lot easier, and I felt like it would be the same as what it was when I was at college and doing the A-level, and it wasn't. It was a lot more sort of. It was a lot harder work, but again, I was learning new techniques, whereas before I already knew them, So it was. But the people I was doing it with were excellent. We all helped each other. There was that sort of community amongst the class, I feel like. We kind of all helped each other. We all had different strengths, and I just felt like you could probably, with them behind you and around you, you could probably just about do anything. I remember the first time I was there, the first thing they had were doing on my first day was to produce an image, 3 images on a theme, and they would give you an area in Newcastle that you had to go and photograph, and it could be absolutely anywhere within this grid reference that you were given, and it didn't matter what the weather was like, and you had to do it. It was with a film camera, and at the end of the day you had to have a contact sheet with the images on, and the 3 images that had to relate to each other, and you were going to get marked on this as well. And it was a day in Newcastle where it was absolutely torrential rain all day. And I took a coat with us, because I thought, being in college, it started raining when I got there. And they passed the cameras around, for to put the film in. So I put the film in. I looked around, and there was like 18, 19-year-olds there, couldn't put a film in the camera. And that was just an example of like how, like, so the older people could actually help them in a very basic way to put the film in the camera, and they'd never used a film camera before, and they were doing a degree course in photography, never used a film camera. When I looked at, and even now, I still look at it, it's easy to learn something when you're interested in something. And when you really sort of want to become like something like an accountant, you kind of be interested in, you know, that in the first place. You've got to go to university, you've got to get the, you know, the qualifications and all the rest on it. I would say they were more clever because they've had to apply themselves harder to something that they probably find it difficult to try and get into, you know, whereas like the photography's fun. It's something I've always enjoyed doing. I've not had a problem with it, learning that, because it's an enjoyable process. I don't think accounting is. Be the doctor or something like that, you know, that sort of.
So I'm getting the impression you still have this sense that only clever people do certain things at university.
I definitely thought that at school. I think what you've got to be clever. I think to get your degree or whatever. You know, that's for sure. But I think it's harder to get it if you're doing something which is, you know, for a job like an accountant, a lawyer or something like that. I think you've got to be interested in it. For me, from where I'm thinking, because I just couldn't apply myself to something. My mind would wander.